I turn up the bass.
Right, we should be live.
Hello, people.
Hello, hello, hello.
Evening.
Buongiorno.
And we have nobody watching.
Oh no!
Fucking first time we're on time and nobody's in.
Oh my God.
It's because they're used to us being late.
Well, chin chin.
Hmm.
And I need to mute that. There we go.
So, what have we got to talk about this week?
Well, yeah. Let's see. What are we talking about? We're talking about free speech and the dreadful attack of Salman Rushdie. Should we be allowed to say things about and criticize religion, or is it a no-go? So, and also, we three things any good about Boris, or three bad things about Boris? I mean, I can't think of three good things. I can think of three bad things, but that's what we're going to be gabbing about tonight. So, shall we crack on, dear fellas?
Okay, let's go with Salman then.
Right, free speech.
Insofar as I'm aware, wasn't the fatwa on him lifted? And even again, I'm pretty sure I saw a report that Imran Khan had said, he's the Prime Minister, cricket, what anyone would. Even he said this was.
Does it believe which sect you are? Does it matter like that?
Does what? Sorry.
What sect they are, Sunni or Shia?
Oh God, mate, you're talking above my pay grade. There, I haven't got a clue.
Well, as far as I'm aware, Saudi Arabia never lifted it.
No, I'm sure some places would never have lifted it.
No. But then again, stating that, truth of the matter is, would they really lift it, or would it be Turkey? Not Turkey to leak? Oh, fuck off.
No.
Anyway, I've been drinking. But yeah, Turkey. I mean, which is like, they'll lie to your face if you're not a Muslim. But if you're a Muslim, they'll tell you the truth. So I'm led to believe that I suppose that all depends on what you're being told and what sect you come from, because some sects are not what they call proper Muslims. That's what some Muslims say. Not me. This is what I have been told. So
we didn't have none of this in the 70s. We had none of it whatsoever. We just all lived together quite harmoniously, and then we injected religion into the country from a foreign religion, and they've brought their troubles and their years and years of turmoils and wars and all into our country. And it's an offshoot of diversity.
Yeah, but the point is, in this country, we believe in free speech. So I'm led to believe, but it seems
certain factions don't.
Right. But here's the thing. How far should we go on free speech? Where is there a point where we decide this isn't free speech, this is hate speech? Now, here's the thing. What is hate speech? Because
exactly.
At the end of the day, hate speech is speech that somebody doesn't like. Let's face
Yeah.
it, that's what it is.
One man's treasures, one man's trash.
Right. So at the end of the day, it's where do you draw it line? That's the thing. Because we all need to know where it becomes hate speech, so everybody can live within that rule. Now,
Threatening violence, I think you shouldn't be able to threaten violence upon another.
well, that's the thing, isn't it? There shouldn't be any violence threatened. There shouldn't be. Well, if you don't comply with what we say is true, I don't know, with religion, this is what we believe and this is true and you should believe it. No.
That's authoritarianism.
Like,
Fascism.
you should be able to turn around and say you don't believe that.
Yeah.
And without fear of being, shall we say,
No.
the threat of death. Because you take Salman Rushdie, yeah, he wrote a book called The Satanic Verses. Now, whether or not you want to get into that, I mean, dare we get into that? I like the job I do. I like living.
I wouldn't have a clue about the book, to be fair. Just about the ignominy that surrounded it.
So at the end of the day, but yeah, the point of the matter is, there were apparently some verses in the Quran that apparently that were satanic. Now, I'm not a Muslim. Well, I'm never gonna pretend I am. But here's the thing. I do know that there is a part where apparently Muhammad couldn't tell the difference between the angel Gabriel and Satan. And he said something that was obviously, apparently, Satan was whispering in his ear. So so whether or not you want to deny it or admit it or whatever, it's there. Now, it don't mean that because you've said that is there, that you should be threatened with death or whatever, because you've pointed the obvious out. Yeah, I mean,
you've now gone against free speech by initiating violence upon another person.
Well, that's it. I mean, on top of that, I mean, you have to hat off to Salman Rushdie. He managed to write a book about it, and it's only a couple of fucking small verses on it. You know what I mean? So, but yeah. But the point of the matter is, I think personally, at this moment in time, free speech is dwindling in this country. You can't say this. I mean, it's like... Yeah, all right. All right, Reza, how you doing?
A little bit.
Yeah,
living the dream.
But it's like when you talk about what is a woman. Here's the thing: free speech should be. You should be allowed to turn around and say, "I think that
you're a stupid twat."
No. You've got to give up. You've got to.
Right, okay.
The matter is, this is my. I mean, this bit about if you were a straight white guy, you're a cis male. What the fuck's this cis bit?
No idea. It's half a word of sissy in my day.
Right. At the end of the day, I'm not a cis male. I am a normal, what I call a normal male. I like women.
Adult human male.
Right. Yeah, I suppose so, yeah. I like women. I'm not into whatever we meant. I'm women only. But that's the point, isn't it? We can't. But you can only say, this is my view. Because then you get some pill that comes along and says, well, your view's wrong. It's bigoted. Well, okay, that's your view. And you're right to say that. But when you start telling me it's not my right to say what I'm saying, that a woman to me is somebody with breasts and a vagina, not a man-made vagina, not somebody that's, that's got dangly bits. Well, let's call it what it is: meat and two veg.
Building a suitcase.
Yeah, that's there shouldn't be any way that they turn around and say, well, you can't say that. Well, why can't I? Because it's bigoted. Why is it? It's just wrong. You've got if you believe in free speech, no matter whether you like it or not, as long as it's not threatening violence, as long as it's not picking on religions and trying to silence religions or silence free speech, then there shouldn't be anything wrong with it. But it seems that at this moment in time in this country, we're being bent over and told we can't discuss this or we can't say that, and it's totally wrong. Free speech is free speech, whether you like it or not, and there's no such thing as hate speech. Hate speech is, in my view, is when somebody don't like what you're saying. So what do you reckon,
Well, that's what they think hate speech is.
Well, silence is violence. Speech is violence. When's violence violence?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's got pathetic, really. We're living in a world that I never thought existed. It's like we've let everyone that inclusive that we're now listening to the literal morons. Those people you used to tell to shut the fuck up, and they used to shut the fuck up. No one's telling these people to shut the fuck up. And people are cats, dogs, and fucking everything these days. I don't know what the fuck's going on. It's like I've woken up and meeting a fawn in the middle of fucking Narnia.
Yeah. Waking up in the morning and slapping myself right face and thinking to myself, is this real?
And in this world today, yeah, it's going to be. Please don't put your cock in a crocodile's mouth. Obviously, that sign was there because someone tried to put the cock in a fucking crocodile's mouth.
Yeah. You can't help stupid, though, can you?
No, it's what we had the Darwin Awards for.
Right. Yeah, I think that's why we had all these asylums, to keep the stupids from doing stupid shit like sticking the cock in crocodile's mouth. And of course, drinking battery acid, because on a battery it says do not drink. No kidding.
Yeah, you see, you'd have never needed a sign like that in the old days. We'd have fucking known.
Yeah. So, what do you guys say, Flux, on the subject?
Well, I think you're all idiots. And you're all bigots. You're hypocrites. I think there's something really wrong with you lot. Beside myself with rage here, I'm Smurf waiting right out.
I'm offended at that comment.
Yes, and I'm going to storm off in a second. Yes. And whilst I'm at it, I'm in a top starring role in a mega multi-billion block starring film that goes on for, what is it? How many films have been made of it now? Oh, let me think, maybe 5 or 6? And I'm going to be that entitled cunt that got that gig on the back of the book of J.K. Rowling and then goes out and attacks the cunt that says, I'm not going to do another film if she's involved. I think that she's correct. And all of you are wrong.
Well, she's been attacked. Imagine that, your Rupert Grints and your whatever, I don't know. Fuck was it?
I was talking about that Hermione bird.
Another one.
Yeah, she said that she won't do another film if J.K. Rowling's involved. And yet J.K. Rowling, getting back to this freedom of speech, has been attacked how many times online? And the most recent one, when she showed support for Salman Rushdie with the satanic verses, somebody said, "Don't worry, you're next." And how they have ultimately had their account suspended from Twitter. But how long was that up there for? To be fair, I don't know, but it was long enough.
Yeah. Well, it's like that, isn't it? I mean, Twitter and the government of the United States are gonna start to stop. What is it? Mind block. So, disinformation. You've got two of the biggest disinformation things going: American government and Twitter, for spreading disinformation. They're the biggest two in the world for spreading. Yeah. I mean, you'll think about it. Like, we thought China were bad, but America's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Misinformation just means you're not believing their lies.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We're going to attack disinformation. No. What you're actually saying is that you're going to attack free speech.
Discourse. Yeah.
Like, because if somebody turns around and says, "I think that this is happening," that means they think that this is happening. They're not turning around and saying, "This is happening." They're saying, "I think this is happening," which means they are thinking that, I don't know, the Great Reset's happening. Yeah? So they're thinking on this lines, and they explain why they think that this is happening, and what they can see and things like that. So they're thinking it. Now they're going to squash that, stop that being allowed to be said. Why? That's free speech. He thinks that this is happening, so he isn't threatening violence against anybody or anything like that. So why should his voice be squashed? Because he is thinking that.
But this is all part of the CRT. I mean, God knows how many years old this video is. It's this awful American professor standing off up to the left in some auditorium, the speaker on stage. I forget, it could have been Charlie Kirk. I love him or hate him, don't really care. Could have been Ben Shapiro, love or hate, don't really care. But it was somebody along those lines. And she had up a sign saying, "Words are violence." And she was a professor of English. I believe she was a professor of English. But anyway, she was a professor, nonetheless, at a university.
Sorry, love, you would come.
You know, words aren't violence.
No. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. That is one of the first rhymes I ever learned in primary school.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. These people are scared and hurt. It's violence. No, it's a fucking word.
I mean, you have an argument if somebody uses words and then uses violence against you. Yeah, you could say that words while they're beating crap out on you. Yeah, I suppose then you could say words are violence.
You've got to be able to call a cunt, and that cunt has been able to call you a cunt. That's the way it goes. That's the way life has been run. You know what I mean? And you're hiding away. I think it's all the fuck. I promise you, it must be all the fucking morons who feel fucking walking down the road's not a safe space. Mind you, I live in fucking London, it isn't a fucking safe space. But you know what I mean? The words. Shut the fuck up.
And yet at the same time, we've got, is that any louder? Any better? I hope so.
Yes. Spot on that.
Have we got any, any advice or wisdom on what the fuck is going on with the flash violence and store looting in London that's following America? That was happening in Oxford Street, was it last weekend?
Yeah. I don't know why has it happened? You know, why aren't the police? You know, I think
no respect, lawlessness.
Like
The
I
police
mean,
are shit scared to do anything, apparently, according to the number of police officers, retired police officers that I was watching on GB News and stuff. Their hands are tied, especially the younger recruits, according to these people, not my words. You know,
They
they're
will
just,
probably have a safe space in the fucking staff room.
well, they're terrified about what's going to happen to them.
Oh, they'll probably get frightened if someone farted loudly next to them.
what? This is the thing. If
No,
police,
I mean, what happens to their jobs?
yeah, this is
Yeah.
the thing that gets me is if police aren't capable of doing the job, then what comes next? What do we do?
We the people have got to start another police. We've got to start another police ourselves. We really have.
Whoa, Tiger.
Yeah, that's
You know, going on the laws of the country and all that. But these policemen are not doing any job for the people of this country. We need to go by law. But the peelers, that's how the police started. Now, these are no longer fit for purpose, these people. They run around like government SA.
well,
We need an honest police force again that will stick up for the lord of the land.
well, what we need, and I know this is going to sound stupid, and I figure anybody that's been a security guard, maybe and maybe not, I suppose at the end of the day, you got to train your security guards. But the point of the matter is, security guards, when it comes to that property that they're doing security on, should be given the right to. They should be trained on how to use batons and things like that. And if that sort of thing happened, then they should be allowed to use certain amount of force without the threat of prosecution to remove these people like that are looting out of their shop. At this moment in time, being a security guard, and we touched on this last week, is a joke. You
will not go in.
You can't. What can you do against these people? Nothing. You can't lay a finger on them.
Well, absolutely. Honestly, mate, I went to my local supermarket. It was yesterday or the day before yesterday. And the same thought went through my head because I saw the security. I use the word men loosely. You know, I'm a small chap. But fuck me, these guys are tiny. And, you know, and the only thing that I can suspect is that because there's nothing they can do. It's just I don't know, a show of something. I don't know.
Well, the only thing a security guard is, shall we say, it records the crime. So when it comes to court, he can then stand up in court and say, yeah, I 100% followed this guy around the store. He stole this at this aisle. He stole that at
right.
that.
Got you.
And that is it. That technically, and to be able to, if this person gets violent, then he is allowed to use reasonable force to remove the threat of violence to customers, if you get what I mean.
But he'll still end up in court.
Right. Of course they do. If you pin somebody down, that is assault, and you've got to then prove to a judge, which pisses me off because most good supermarkets have good cameras. Because obviously they
wouldn't have even come up years ago. Oh, you had to do this to yeah, fine. You know what I mean? It wasn't a matter, as long as it, was reasonable funds.
But like, at the end of the day, so technically, that security guard then has to have a day off to go to court. No, this just should be able to sit there, look at that video evidence, say, yeah, bosh. No need for you to come to court, sir. It's open and shut case. If this guy wants to argue whatever or try and sue the company you're working for assault, that you assaulted them, there you go. There's your evidence. You want to take it to court, go for it. Because you ain't going anywhere because I'm not going to allow it into court. Now, I know a lot of people will say,
magistrates
yeah,
watching YouTube.
but like at end of the day, it's something needs to change because coppers aren't doing the jobs. And what you're
No.
expecting security guards to do is
Hey,
above and beyond, to be quite
hey,
honest.
those police have to learn to tumble one of those bloody poles with multicoloured flags on them now. Do it ever so well. Like
But
a band leader. Up in the air.
You know,
Rainbow flag.
at the end of the day, if police aren't doing the job, or they can't do the job because they're too scared because of the ramifications of them doing the job, then can I just send a message out there to all the police that think like this? Quit! And let's have some proper coppers, you morons.
What did they say?
You know?
8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 crimes weren't solved in London or something like that.
Right. You know, and it is. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, the thing that gets me is that the government has given coppers that much power, and yet we will. I don't know. I don't know how to say it because if you're white, yeah, we'll assault you and bat a frig out of you. What are you going to do? You know, but yeah, if you're if you're a person of colour, you know, we don't want to tackle you. We don't want to. Yeah, what?
Well, you're physically fit, and we want you to know the law, and we want you to keep the law. Okay, that's all we ask of you. We don't want you on the side of anybody. We don't want you traipsing up and down playing trumpets and twerking in fucking street parties, and it's not your job.
Oh,
you're a policeman.
You look at that copper when he had that band on his wrist saying supporting Help the Heroes or whatever it were, and he was meant to feel guilty for that. I'm sorry. Why didn't the police force back this copper and say, no, we're not going to have you lot bullying this police officer to change his view to suit your view. No, we're not having it. Enough's enough.
Well, I'd go a bit further. I don't think our police officers should be wearing fucking armbands or fucking anything. They should be in fucking uniform, tooled up, ready to be a police officer, not a walking statement about their own fucking personal affairs.
Well, yeah, I quite agree with that. But the point of the matter is this police officer chose to say, but then again, stating that now, because I suppose you've got to have some allowances, because at the end of the day, when it comes to Poppy Day or Poppy time, should a police officer be allowed to wear a poppy? Well, I personally think so, yeah.
You got me there. Okay. I don't have an answer.
Well, I say, yeah, all right.
I mean, I think they should, but then that's me being a fucking hypocrite, isn't it?
Well, yeah. But point is, all right, so we'll say, right, at this time of year, you will be able to wear a poppy, if so, whatever. But the rest of the time, no affiliation bans.
I suppose the reason why I'm not being hypocrite... Sorry,
I was just going to say, these are national things, though, aren't they? You know, the nation celebrates.
And
the
also
other thing's political. Sorry,
and also the thing is that we're talking about war here, not some bullshit gender ideology.
War is hell.
Yeah. There's a big difference. So
yeah, but we're
okay. So the emblem that we can use is the English flag. English, I beg your pardon. Sorry, the United Kingdom, the Union Jack.
Yeah.
They can use that. That's an emblem. They can use the Queen's crown on their warrant cards and everywhere else, and so because it's national, yes, indeed, not LG fucking EG2. Yeah, exactly. My pride's in
your
my country.
pride has gone with pride.
Yeah, quite right. Right, 2 seconds back in a mo.
But yeah, it's we need to allow free speech, and I think people need to wake up and realise if we're not careful,
We've
these
already,
yeah
we've always had free speech, mate, haven't we?
yeah, but it's aren't they are bringing new laws or trying to bring out new laws, tightening up the last
Online.
last lot of but also saying it in public. You know what I mean? And personally, I think it's wrong. I mean, who gave these people? Because that's all they are, the people.
Yeah.
The
It
power.
only takes two stupid people to moan about something and it's cancelled.
Yeah.
Why don't they have the guts to actually look and say, well, they're arguing about things that people know about? What are you? I'm saying this about Jerry Sadowitz, who in the Edinburgh Fringe this week was cancelled. I think it was by the Pleasance. I'm not sure or not, so allegedly. But basically, he's a stalwart and has been of the Edinburgh Festival for decades. And I remember in the 80s scrawping around for a VHS tape of this bloke. Now, he is the most offensive person you'll ever meet on a stage, right? He's a Jewish bloke, has the right go at Jews, blah, 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 has a go at everything. And people have known for decades what he is. And this week, I think he had one show and they said, we're not having you on anymore because a couple of people have complained. But everybody for decades know who Jerry Sadowitz is in the comedy world. So these people they're fascists. There's no other word to say it. These people are fascists. I'm not going to call them Nazis and give them the word jumble. They are fascists because they want to stop people talking who they do not agree with. And if it upsets them, you're not allowed to upset anyone these days. Well, live life. It's an upsetting fucking place.
Well, that's it. I mean, what we need is less government intervention. We've got laws in that stop you using threatening behaviour online and things like that. We just need basic online thing. This is the rules. Don't do it. If you do,
oh, you should be allowed to troll people without initiating violence, you know. And there isn't a such thing as called a block button.
Right. Well,
There is.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, they just opened a new account. But here's the thing: if government get away with this next round of dodgy, shall we say? I mean, they might not class it as dodgy, but
everything's dodgy.
Yeah, we're going to be stuck where we would. I mean, just talking about what we're talking now could get us a knock at the door. You know,
come in. You want a cup of tea?
You know what I mean? Yeah, but you don't want it. You don't need it. You know.
No, you don't. In fact, that's the way I'd treat it. Like, you have got no right being in here asking me about my thoughts. I'm not affecting anybody with it, or might be upsetting somebody. But so what? That's just their feelings. I have my feelings. You're upsetting me right now. Are we gonna have a word with you now? Well, it just gets stupid. It's something. They're trying to police something that'll blow up in the face.
All right, but I mean, at the end of the day, if we're not careful, it's like they're just gonna plow on and plow on. And it seems to me that we're asleep. I mean, I'm sorry. I think I need to remind people: millions of people died fighting for our freedoms. Not once, but twice. 2 world wars. And are we going to sit by and
And
allow.
in fact, through the centuries, war after war after war after war. To gain civilization, these war's hell. But it was to further civilization, I suppose.
But like it is, if we're not careful, what are we going to hand to our kids?
Well, look at the state of it now.
You
I'm
know,
not being funny, but do you think it's really in our control?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
I do. It only takes one person. Remember that it takes one person to start a revolution. One person. But the point of the matter is, it's got to be somebody with charisma. And let's face it, I ain't got charisma. You need the right person, and he's got to be clever. Because don't forget, when it comes down to it, he's got to be the one that he's the front runner. And we've got to have people that, when he says, right, we're on the streets, people need to say, yeah, when? And we all need to be there. But the only way we're going to send a clear message is us all sticking together. And when I mean sticking together, I mean, doesn't matter what religion, doesn't matter what colour you are, doesn't matter whether you're gay, straight, bi, whatever you think you are or whatever you want to call yourself, you all stick together. Because it's all right, these leftists thinking, oh, they're only attacking you, so it doesn't matter to me. Well, I'm sorry. Once they're finished with us, who do you think they're coming after next? Yeah, you. Because they don't like what you're saying either. So we need to stick together. We need something to grab hold of.
Well, we need to get rid of these
Very well put, mate. Very well put.
We can't listen to lobbyists. These lobbyist groups, the Hate No Hope and Stand Against Say, these are all hateful lobbyist groups, basically. And anyone trying to be decent in this country is now attacked as if they're an animal by these lobbyist groups who we shouldn't listen to. Tell them to shut the fuck up.
I mean, you've got these lobbyists that they pay members that we've supposedly voted in to represent us and to stand up for us and to technically do what they promised in their manifesto. That's why we voted them in. Obviously, when they get in power, there you go, you muppets. But yeah,
they seem to be wanting to work against Britain. They represent Britain and the people of Britain who voted for them. And every 4 or 5 years, they knock on your door and they tweak your little baby's cheek and say how bloody valuable you are. And then they fuck Britain up the arse. You're meant to be working for Britain, but you work against Britain. How does that work out? I don't understand that one. In fact, right now, we've got 2 conservative leaders that are both World Economic Forum people, and they're not interested in this fucking country whatsoever. They're interested in a globalist agenda. They're not interested in countries having our own individualities, having our own culture, have we had throughout the whole of the centuries. They're interested in destructing the lot. So it's just a massive, big taxi rank.
Allegedly.
Oh no, I couldn't agree with you more, mate.
No, I
couldn't agree with you more.
There's no recants there, mate. They're bastards.
But like at the end of the day, at Liz Truss, I mean, come on, really? She were a Remainer. I mean, why the hell? I mean, at the end of the day, when we voted for Brexit, we were given a set of things. It meant we were leaving, and that meant the single market. It meant this, and this, and then it all became about the deal. What deal? We never agreed on a deal. The deal was, if we voted by one person, we'd be out. So, or
They
one,
tried to coup on the government to bloody keep us there, to keep us in the bloody thing.
so at the end of the day, you can't trust her. And that's for Shucky Mac. The point of the matter is, he don't even want to be in this country. He wants to be in America. So tell her, on your bike.
Yeah,
See you.
8-9 years ago, he was thinking of it, wasn't he? And apparently his wife is over there.
Right. So at the end of the day, I mean, what we need is
Foreigners, usurpers. They come in, get a taxi, do the ride, and fuck off.
what we need is honest working people. And yeah, I can see you, Gavin. Honest people that want to do right by the people of this country, because at this moment in time, they're not. And to turn around and say, Boris is still the Prime Minister, and he's not doing anything to help the working class when it comes to this with the cost of living crisis. Now,
They could do it overnight. They could do that overnight. Overnight, they could take the tax off this, tax off that, VAT off that, blah, 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 and we're all happy again.
Yeah, unfortunately, we need money at the minute to pay the debt off. And if we got rid of every tax that would go in, we'd have a slight problem of paying his debt.
We're all right throwing it to Ukraine, though, aren't we? And by the way, I feel sorry for the Ukrainian citizens. But unfortunately, they've been grabbed by a globalist government, as I think myself.
Right, but at the end of the day, we definitely need a government. Yeah, you can't have a government that is too soft. We understand that there has to be some tough love, as they put it. You can't bow down when it was the 70s, when the unions and Labour sort of the unions walked all over the government, and on the whim of a fart, they'd all walk out on strike. Yeah, we all understand that, but the point of the matter is there has got to be some level where you can say, yeah, we'll allow you to push to this point, but after that, you can't. You know what I mean?
Well, look, from the very 70s, right, when I was brought up on, I remember 15% was the inflation rate. There were power cuts, there was trash on the streets, there were people on strike, and we were basically a communist country. And we shoveled ourselves out of that. Now, to get back to that tells me one thing. We're back to being a communist country.
Well,
what do you reckon?
Well, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, the problem is we're allowing communist ideas to seep into our system of the way the government is dealing with stuff.
Yeah. We'll get on to climate change in a bit.
Right. If we don't send a clear message, we're not having this. Communism's never worked. And don't tell me, like they keep saying, well, they didn't do it right. There's never going to be a right.
Never worked.
There's always a wrong with it. The only thing that communism's ever done is kill people. And we're not talking a few people, we're talking millions. Starvation is a normal thing of communism. Now, you can say what you like. There's no good way of doing it. So we've had a system, we've tried a few systems, and the one we've got now seems to be the one that works. Yeah, we might not like having 1% of the world owning most of the money, having most of the money. But at the end of the day, we thought that we
were able to live.
Yeah, we thought we had freedom. Now, stop me if I'm
Now they want us eating bugs.
Yeah, they want rid of cows because apparently
nitrates.
You know,
Methane.
apparently methane's pretty bad for the environment. Oh well, we've had high rates of methane. I mean, the thing that makes me laugh, one of the biggest thing that creates methane is cockroaches. What are we going to do with them? Oh, that's right.
Oh,
They're
we're
going
going to
to
eat them, apparently. Yeah.
Like hamburgers.
If they're that
Yeah.
concerned about the planet, why don't they not just kill all life?
Well, that's what they're trying to do by the sounds of getting rid of carbon. Because trees, mind you, they don't bother about trees now. Apparently in Scotland, they got rid of God knows how many million trees. Just to put up some wind farm, bloody.
23 million trees were cut down.
Honestly, and that's your biomass that's going to save your electric, by the way, you bunch of dumb fucks.
All right, saying that,
Yeah,
but how many
yeah.
was replanted?
Yeah, that's the point. How many were replanted? Because
Well, they were, they
It
were
would
all
have to
put
be. It's
into
sustainable.
Fair
wind
point.
farms.
Fair point.
I mean,
The
I
Forest
don't know.
Commission own the land. If they cut down a tree, they need to put something there again so they can profit off it in 30, 40 years' time.
well, thing is, they planted a load of wind turbines, didn't they? Planted.
Yeah, that's what they planted there.
Right, and let's. I mean, just that. Let's go tinfoil out for the time being. Yeah, just a little bit of tinfoil. Right. Yeah. Let's. Right. CO2 emissions started rising when? I mean, when really decided that CO2 emissions were going through the roof. When
I
did they
thought we
really?
were low on it.
No, just go tinfoil a bit. On my reckoning, it was when we all started going green and we started laying huge, great big slabs of concrete down to put wind turbines on. We started creating all these solar panels. You know,
What happened to the green belt land that the environments were so hung on protecting?
yeah.
What's
Wasn't
happened
it?
to all that?
Wasn't it the? I don't know if it was argued or proposed beforehand, but wasn't it Al Gore that really started the movement for saying that global warming has been this is the evidence for global warming, i.e. coral bleaching and rising sea levels, and all of which was bollocks.
All bollocks.
And then, oh crikey, saying that, oh come on, finish your thought, you idiots. Al Gore started the man-made global climate warming change thing, which then, it was, I believe it started then, because as Free State would speak much more eloquently about this than I, about the Ponzi scheme that was set up by the IPCC. And Haram very kindly reposted the video from this guy that explains it in under about 3-4 minutes. It's incredible. The carbon credit scam.
It's funny because Michael Moore brought that Planet of the Humans out, which literally laid it flat in its face. No one talks about that anymore. So if you're out there, watch Planet of the Humans, everybody. Very interesting watch for an hour and a half.
But it's definitely Al Gore that set it going. I mean, I'm still waiting, for the ice caps to melt.
Man, bear, pig.
You know, but apparently they are melting. Yeah, but they're refreezing when winter comes. You know what I mean?
When I say Al Gore, he was just the front man, obviously, because silly old me in my front room in England really hasn't got a fucking clue, but, he was the face for it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they got rich from it, let's put it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, say what we want to say.
And the thing that gets me is nobody has done a wildlife impact for all these solar panels and
and cutting down the trees
and the wind turbines. I mean, because if they had done this, they'd have known how many birds were going to die.
Yeah. Where's Chris Packham when you fucking need him?
Like, you know what I mean? So it for me, I'm sorry. I mean, what are we going to do with all these solar panels? I mean, we know what's happening with blades off these wind turbines. They're getting buried because they can't recycle them.
They'll just throw them in the fucking sea, won't they?
Well, you know, the
Bunch of cunts.
point of the matter is, if they're on about that, they're saying that we need reusable stuff. Now, if you're making your so-called green energy from stuff that's not reusable, you're adding to the problem. So, in other words, you're lying flat face in front on us. That
You're being a bigot.
it's you know, I mean, it's right though, isn't it? I mean, and not only that, the Dutch did a study on the offshore wind farm that is expanding now, still expanding, that it would never ever recoup the CO2s that it put into the atmosphere. It would never recoup the costs in its lifetime to recoup the money it costs to do it. So why are we still doing it? What?
I had a friend visit Llandudno today, and she remarked that out at sea, all she could see was these wind fucking farm fucking mills.
I think that
It
gets me right.
Hell.
Now, all these seabirds and whatnot that are getting killed by these turbines. I mean, but yeah, you kill a seagull. Oh my God, you're in serious trouble. You kill a pigeon. I mean, gee, yeah, you're in
With a
serious.
bit of couscous.
Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's all right to put wind turbines up, which are killing millions of birds a year. That's fine, no problem.
Yeah. We're run by a
Shot
bunch
pigeon
of
the other
cunts.
day.
Right.
They're not fools, mate. It's intentional.
It was. Yeah,
You know?
exactly. These cunts know what they're doing. They're buying
Yep.
farmland off. They're blaming farmers for the nitrates, so they stop farming. So they want to cut your food. They want to kill the planet. They want us all eating bugs. Who's going to put their hand up and volunteer for all that?
Not me.
You know, you can always get rid of these bastards.
No, by using the power of the vote, you mean?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Or
Well, I was
through
thinking
the
about
courts of
imagination.
law through what they've been going.
You know, it's like they have some great ideas out there, but it always seems these good ideas which are low cost, higher yield for energy all disappear. We never seem to get them to come through. It's like, yeah, we don't want people to have low cost energy. We don't want people to be able to have a standard of living where they can live cheaply and have
No, how dare you, peasant?
Well, that's it, yeah. You know what I mean? And yeah, I think personally, on a certain level, that they are trying to break us, bankrupt
They
us.
are. Multifacetedly.
Like, you know, the big company, I mean, but I just can't work it out because once you take everything from everybody, nobody's got anything. The rich can't get rich because you don't have anything. So you can't buy anything. You can't rent anything because you haven't got anything. So how do they intend to make themselves richer when we haven't got everything because they've took everything from us?
Well, it's a shame we can't just refuse to sell them stuff.
Right, so, yeah, have we had enough of that one, shall we? 3 good things and 3 bad things about Boris Johnson. Come on, who's going to go first? Are you going to go first? Are you going to be the one?
The scandal released us from the COVID lockdown.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
What about Boris Johnson?
Yeah, he had that scandal where he went to the party and everything, and he couldn't hold face about it. So he had to release her from lockdown.
It's going to be hard finding a good thing about him, isn't it?
I thought that was a good thing, you know.
There you go, yeah. At least you're trying.
Right. Well, No.
Okay, can I go on with that one though?
Yeah, go on then.
Where was the picture taken?
What picture?
Of Boris at the party.
I think it was the back garden where they got mortar attacked in the 70s by I don't know.
Yeah, that one.
Well, that was one of them. The other one
that
was
one of them. Right, cool. So let's just go with that one to start with. Does anybody seriously think, bearing in mind that we live in the most surveilled CCTV'd country in the world, that they didn't know that was going to be released? There's going to be fucking cameras everywhere. And every time that, I'm so surprised it got released. Oh my...
It's just a grand theatre, isn't it? They're taking the piss from the Post.
They don't care.
No.
They don't give a fuck.
Well, it's like that. I mean, I'll go with three good things. One is decided to resign and not be Prime Minister because he's a dick. The second one is decided to resign. And the third one is decided to resign. Now, the three bad things is one is atrocious, is an horrible man, is a dirty little pervert. You know, in my opinion, obviously. The second one is that he's a terrible dress man. He is. I mean, I expect our politicians to look
lovely.
You know what I mean? To look smart, be smart, and
look at your hair. Comb your fucking hair.
I've got a question for you, Carlo. Would you rather have Boris Johnson there or Theresa May?
Neither.
Well, one's worse than the other.
Well, no, to be quite honest, how can I put it? The same arse, but just a different cheek. Because let's face it, Boris Johnson didn't deliver us Brexit like he promised. He didn't. Matter of fact, he's made things 3 times worse than what Theresa May did. And she was deliberately trying to make things worse. Yeah, you know. So, at the end of the day, no, I didn't want any. I mean, but here's the thing. Maybe, for future reference, the people of this country might able to be able to decide who they want to pick as Prime Minister instead of being forced. I mean, let's be quite honest. I mean, would you want Keir Starmer as Prime Minister? I mean,
would I?
Even Labour voters don't want Keir Starmer. I've talked with them.
Again, 2 cheeks, the same arse, uni party, doesn't matter if they're Labour or Conservative, they're all part of shitting us up the arse.
Right, but you'll work it out, right? Let's take a little look at. I've never seen such a rich government or politicians. Politicians nowadays they come in with nothing and leave millionaires. I'm sorry, there's something wrong there.
Well, very dodgy. Audit the government, as I say.
You know. But the point of the matter is, well, I suppose if you're on 85 grand a year, yeah, you can have a good standard of living, especially when
exactly, and be happy with it.
And especially when you get a credit card that allows you to spend on
10 times as much.
Yeah, you know, I think what we need to do is we need to say, hang on a minute here, if you want milk for your house, don't put it on that credit card and tell us you need it off it. You know what I mean? Be honest. And if you're caught being unhonest, you need to be arrested, charged with said crime of defrauding.
Corruption.
Yeah, defrauding the British people and go to prison for it. The only way they will learn is if they are sent to prison and made to do time and then ridiculed and have everything took off them. Because at the end of the day, if they're stealing from the taxman, because technically that's what it is, if they're using the taxpayers' money to pay for stuff, in my view, it's taking money off the taxman. Because the taxes that we pay go to pay for all this stuff that the government is using and spending. Well, in theory, but the way they've been spending money lately, you know, we'll be paying for. Well, I won't be paying for it for a long time into the future because I'll be dead after so many years, hopefully.
Well, this law that you're talking about, the only way that'll pass is if they vote for it themselves.
And that's never going to happen. That's why it needs a committee that cannot allow politicians to influence any committee member. And that's it. I mean, we did have House of Lords, but let's face it, the House of Lords is full of, well, I don't know. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it because it is wrong to accuse. You know, well, they turn up and what is it, 350 quid a day just to sit there and go to sleep? You know what I mean? I fancy some of that. Can I be a lord, please? Yeah, can somebody nominate me to be a lord?
Imagine you falling asleep in your job.
I think a lot of people would die.
For anyone who doesn't know,
Right, but at the end of the day, we need to sort the system out. It's not working. It's broken, seriously broken.
Completely broken. And not only broken, taken into Narnia and other worlds.
Right, but I mean, at the end of the day, we need to do something. We can't just keep going on where we are, because if we do, we won't be around when it really goes. It'll be our kids and grandkids.
There's going to be a hell of a fight, isn't there? If the young some of the young look at it as we look at it, they're in for one hell of a fucking fight. We need to start it by helping them, I think, because, you know, decency and morals seem to be just being flushed down the toilet, literally.
James Owen, yes, I quite agree. They should all be wearing suits like Formula One drivers. Yes, agreed. With all the advertisement on them for all the companies that are paying them. And if you think about it, they'd never be able to do a vote because, you know what I mean? They're all being paid by these lobbyists, so they won't be able to do a vote because they'll all be not allowed to because conflict of interest. You know what I mean? Let's face it, that's why it's a bit.
Yeah. I don't think the governments realise these days that we know what they're up to, and you might be able to blind the dickheads that just watch your mainstream TV, but the rest of us all fucking know what you're doing. We see what you're doing. We see the future of what you're doing, and we want no part of it. So one of you grab some balls and turn yourself into a bit of a legend and take this country fucking forward for the British people. How about that? How about doing that, you fucking people that are meant to govern us? Because you don't govern us, you fucking rule us. We're not having it any longer. Anyway, I'm sorry about my rant.
Well, is it Kendo Taylor? I don't know, mate. I haven't got a clue. I mean, I know what I'd like to do, but I'm not allowed to say it because it's definitely not good, and I'd probably get arrested for it. But yeah, we need to do something, and we need to figure it out fast because at the moment we're quickly going to lose rights to speak out against this and speak out against that, and anything that's said against the government, you could be arrested for. You know, whether it's in haste, or it's a joke.
The only thing I can think of is accelerating things. Just get them to accelerate it way too quick. That way people wake up a lot quicker, a lot sooner. Yes, it'll be painful, but at least there'll be a mass amount of an awakening.
Well, the Dutch are sort of fighting their corner over there. But again, part of the EU, I have personally thought that that's a fascist state, and it's being proved that way. So, good luck to the Dutch farmers, but this will go worldwide. And apparently it got a bit of coverage on the Vuelta de Spain today, the cycle race. That was quite good.
I've heard that the German economy is about to collapse.
Well, it's the banks, isn't it? That's about.
This has happened before, hasn't it? Wonder when that was.
Right. Well,
1922, and then the Nazi party got in 33. Yeah, something like that.
yeah. Unfortunately, at this moment in time, I don't know. To be quite honest, if Germany goes down, Europe goes down. So I can't see that happening.
Well, we're not more reliant on Russian gas as the Germans are.
You know, it won't stop them from blaming us for Brexit.
Well, they all blame us for Brexit. Even our own politicians blame us for fucking Brexit.
But we are to blame for Brexit.
Yeah, it's what we
are.
wanted.
It's what we fucking wanted. Exactly.
Yeah.
But we're not.
Out, by the way, no deals. Out.
But the thing is, we're not to blame for the shambles over how it's going on. Because let's face
Agreed
it,
entirely.
Our politicians, we haven't got a decent one with a set of cojones. I mean,
and you know what? I think I should have rephrased it. We aren't to blame for Brexit. We are credited for Brexit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. The British people knew what they wanted, and I bet you lot even tried to fucking turn that around.
Yeah, but what I was saying is that whatever happens in the EU that is bad for them, they'll just blame Brexit. Our banks has collapsed because of, let's blame the British. It was Brexit.
Yeah, we were the poor man's toe rag in that fucking system. Fuck 'em.
Yeah. Oh, we've got no gas. Oh, the Russians invaded the Ukrainians. Oh, let's blame Brexit.
It's like this. I mean, and I've spoken to quite a few lorry drivers, and a lot of them are saying exactly what I've seen, and they're seeing exactly what I've seen. There is no food shortage. These warehouses are full. Seriously. I mean, it's that bad. Some of these warehouses are so full that they're building new warehouses to try and store or renting spaces from buildings that technically were shut down because nobody was using them, because the companies that run them had gone bankrupt through COVID. So they're renting these buildings out to store food. Now, here's the thing. If we've got that much food, what's going on? Why isn't it getting in the shops? And the simple answer to that is, one, people don't want to be lorry drivers. You know, let's be honest. I mean, you can scream all you want. Oh, we're going to do this to get more lorry drivers. We're going to do that to get more lorry drivers. I'll guarantee you that, say you get 10 people to pass the test, by end of the year, there will only be 5, maybe less, left driving lorries at end of the year. A year after they pass the test. And the reason why is because of the long hours, the unsociable hours, and the poor pay.
And you can get fined to the eye teeth, can't you?
Yeah. I mean, you think about it. They just changed all the laws, putting lorry drivers at the top, because we do, apparently, you know, that's if you want to say that. Yeah, we can do the most damage. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. What moron comes up with the idea and turns around and says, well, you know, because you're going the slowest and you do the most damage, you should be held accountable for every other lunatic on the road.
And there are lunatics fucking every yard.
Yeah, but here's the thing: lorries take longer to stop. It's no good thinking. I mean, anybody that turned around and said that what should have happened is the fact of the matter is what they should have said is, yes, lorries can do the most damage, but at the end of the day, they should be allowed right of traffic. In other words, stop screwing around with lorries. Stop doing stupid stuff like
Yeah.
going from
Please
lane
don't
three,
break check a lorry. Please don't break check a lorry.
going from lane 3 into lane 1, jamming your brakes on because you want the next exit off. No, that's how people end up dead. But it seems to me that people are doing this. Yes, I understand they are bad drivers and they are good drivers. But if the government don't rethink its strategy and start saying, right, lorries need to have the right of way because they might be going slower, but it takes a hell of a lot longer to stop a lorry than it does a car or a bike
Yep.
or a van or a caravan. You need the people that were in power should have thought about this. And
What, like, you mean like having HGV only lane?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, by law,
Wouldn't
right?
have been a bad idea.
Well, yeah. The problem is with that is when it comes to people wanting to get off. You know what I mean? At the next exit. My point is
It
this.
works all right the way the buses do it with the bus lanes through the towns and cities, where there's a bus only, but you can move into it when approaching a junction to turn off.
But here's the problem, you see. This is where accidents are caused because cars go from lane 3 at full belt over into lane 1 and then jam on because they need to slow down to take the exit. Instead of thinking, right, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it back of this lorry into that big gap behind him and I'm going to wait. No, they just see the lorry. I don't want to get stuck behind that lorry. So I'm going to dart in between two lorries and jam my brakes on so I can get off at my junction.
Oh, be a nice lorry sandwich.
Well, that's the thing, the lorry driver then ends up in prison because he's just killed somebody because there's some driver doesn't know how to
drive.
You know what I mean? What needs to happen is the government needs to rethink its strategy, which it won't because it's stupid and
motorways aren't smart.
Yeah, no, they're not. I mean, what moron came up with the idea? Let's have it at 30 miles an hour. Then let's get it to go to 50 and then back down to 30 again. Or in between, I don't know, what are these signs? 400 yards, 800 yards apart? Now
Maybe they had bipolar and they just couldn't decide either or.
It's worse in Scotland.
Do 30,
they go down
do
to 20.
50, do 30, do 50. Oh, I don't know. Do anything.
All right. But we need a lot of rethinking, but it's not going to happen because at the end of the day, for some apparent reason, these morons have decided that they only want people to walk and ride bikes. Unfortunately, that's not how the world revolves. If you don't have your lorries, you don't have delivery of food and goods. And it's no good pretending that it will carry on without lorries. It won't. What are you going to do? Horse and cart? Steam engines.
Stand and deliver.
Amazon.
Yeah, fucking drones and Amazon drones.
Yes, I do drive on a normal sized road. You twat Free State. But we do. Well, it's like going all electric. We know what's coming.
I remember the batteries not included and things like that in the games. We're all thinking, well, they'll be getting rid of batteries in the future. No, the lunatics are going to go to it.
Yes, James, it is. Yes, you might not like lorries overtaking each other and slowing you down, but here's the thing. Not all lorries do the same speed. Yes, it might take a lorry a little bit longer to overtake another lorry, but if you don't want lorries on the road, stop buying the shit. Simple as.
I've been half an hour behind a tug of war with 2 lorries on a dual carriageway.
Yeah, well, that's usually idiots. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
me
yeah.
personally, after, like you said, James, after 5 minutes, if I can't pass that lorry, I back off, pull it back, hold back, let him go in front, and then just pick my speed back up. Me personally, I don't like being sat at the side of a lorry on a dual carriageway trying to overtake him. It don't work for me. If it's on a 4-laner, then I'll just carry on until I pass it. But if it's a 2-laner, no, I'll just pull back, stay back. Yeah, other lorries overtake me because I've then slowed down past the point because, yeah,
It's
you know,
there goes the tug of war again.
Rolling roadblock.
like at the end of the day, it's common sense. You can't, if it's a dual carriageway, you don't want to be blocking the system up because I want to get past this other lorry. I mean, I know some lorry drivers are like that, but I'm not. And there's a lot of drivers that aren't like that. You know?
Yeah, let me through and then start your fight again. All right? Just let me through and then start your fight again.
Well, it's a shame our country doesn't use freight more, freight trains. Because the US use a lot of freight trains to transport their cargoes.
Yeah, but unfortunately, when winter comes and get leaves online and a bit of snow, you starve. That's why you keep using lorries. Because in this country, our railways are shite because the money spent on it. Instead, what's actually happened is all these investors get a big payout every year, so no money gets invested in the railways. Yep.
Oh, it's a big shithole after big hole in it. I wouldn't mind, but it'd take about 5 or 6 of us around the table just for about a week, and we'd probably sort out 80% of the country's woes within that fucking week.
If I was to build the country from scratch, I would have a central spine going up the country all the way to Scotland, and it keeps branching out every time it goes up a bit, just for freight. That's the way I would do it.
Well, point is, yeah, you can stick a load of freight on rail, and they do. But the point of the matter is, when it gets to a certain place, then you need lorries to move that freight.
Yeah, but by then it'll be a rigid instead of an Arctic.
Have you never watched the Hell Drivers?
Well, unfortunately not, no. That's the problem, it won't be a rigid. It is an Arctic. Because all these companies and whoever want to save money.
Big load.
Yeah. They don't want to be moving small bits. They want to be moving.
What, to take it like 10 miles from the train depot to the supermarket?
Well, why would you buy a 26 tonner? You could only get 14 pallets on, but the shop or wherever you're going to watch 26 pallets, when an Arctic, which will save fuel, could take 26 pallets all in one. Well, that's 10 more pallets, which means more money for the operator.
Do Tesco's run their own freight company?
Tesco's have got, I do believe that Tesco's have got their own containers.
But not lorries and drivers?
They've got some lorries and drivers. They've only got a small fleet of lorries and drivers.
And they're delivery drivers, aren't they? I mean, to get the freight in.
No, they use outsiders for that, as they call them.
Okay. Oh,
What?
Nothing. Crack on.
Ah,
How much trade will be lost to drone delivery? Not a
oh,
lot.
I'll be nicking the drone.
Yeah. For one starters, if you live in a certain area, not far from a airport,
You're fucked.
Yeah, you won't be getting a drone delivery.
Yeah.
Well, what about theft? You know,
Well-
oh, there's a drone carrying something. Quick,
Oh,
take
yeah.
it down. Let's steal it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when I hear everybody screaming on about that there's going to be driverless trucks soon. Oh,
Death Race 2000.
Yeah, you might go.
They're going about it wrong for the driverless trucks, though, because they're yes, it's nice to develop a system that can sense the road and see the lines and shit. Yeah, fine do, but they never thought about the idea of actually having a proper driverless road where it's all mocked out with sensors and you know, like a central computer thing to tell them to stay apart a certain distance, like being on a rail. It's
They can't
like
fix
being
the
on a rail.
fucking pothole.
Well, I can't see how it'll work. People, I had an argument about this. They said they don't need all these sensors and whatnot. They can do it with satellites and things like that. And Flux, if you're looking tired, join the conversation instead of trying to fall asleep.
I'm listening,
Well,
mate.
All right, no. But if you can just do it with satellites, I can't see how, because I mean, let's face it, if you've drove up and down motorways, you'll see how bad the white lines are on certain motorways.
Well, you can't rely on a satellite. I mean, the GPS sometimes wigs out. You know, all of a sudden it says that, yeah, I don't know, 500 yards to the left, and then it zigzags the other way.
Think
and then you're back
about
on
it
track
if you own broadband in your house. Your broadband drops, everything's fucked. And that's what it would be like out on the street, wouldn't it? Surely to God.
And then if there's a thunderstorm, that interferes with GPS.
Well, that's it. I mean, at the end of the day, before it goes driverless, they've got to have battery-powered trucks. Now, well, I keep saying this, and I'm going to keep saying this, there will not be battery-powered trucks because, one, they don't have the distance. I don't care what kind of batteries you say or what you want to say, it's not going to happen. Because, one, to have the kind of batteries that they say to do the distance would take away at least 10 ton from the weight that you can carry. So if you can carry 24 ton and now you're going to lose 10 ton of that 24 ton, you're only being able to carry 10 ton.
Yeah. Didn't they once talk about having an electrical line above a car lane to have trucks run on it? That was one of the ideas.
That's what I was thinking. Excuse me, thinking about a moment ago when I was not falling asleep, cunt. Was that I'm sure I saw a report from, it was either Sweden or Switzerland. It was somewhere where it snows a lot. Okay, over there, Scandinavia area, and they'd only. But this is the point. They'd built a mile of it. It's never going to be sustainable. What they'd done, it was either a mile or a 2 mile length of the motorway within an existing motorway as a proof of concept for vehicles that have got rails that stick down behind them that connect with the road as they're going along, which recharges their batteries.
Like a Scalextric.
Exactly
that.
But here's the thing, and we keep saying this: where is the ore or whatever to make, and the copper for the cables?
No, it's impossible. It's you can have a proof of concept of me flying around on wings outside, but to get it to happen every day for everyone is fucking bollocks. Yeah.
It's got to be a nightmare for roadworks as well, because when you renew the tarmac or whatever the road's made out of, it's going to be a nightmare with that live rail in the middle.
Well,
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 I don't know
that's
what the charging thing would be. Well, I'm no idea, but yeah, 100%.
I think it is. I think I can't remember what company. Instead of having a ground rail, it was going to be an up rail, and on top of truck, it's got like the tram
Like-
system
Oh God. Yeah.
that flicked up, and it then charges its batteries from that rail as it's going along, and then when it comes to an area where there is no, if you like, no rail it can attach, it drops down and then runs the distance on the batteries. That's a great idea, but then again, you still got the same thing. Look at the amount of motorways we've got. Look at the mileage that these trucks do. Now, can you imagine, right? Well, we'll just say there's a million trucks on road. Let's imagine all them million trucks get turned into electric vehicles with this system, and at any one time there's 200,000 trucks running on a road where they're charging. Let's not forget cars that are sat waiting to be charged, or motorbikes now, because let's face it, the government now has mandated that 2035 all motorbikes will now all be, from that date, will be electric. You won't be able to buy a petrol motorbike from 2030.
By then, I wouldn't surprise me if they banned them completely.
Combustion engine and petrols. You can't beat what's already out there.
I'll just have to buy mine from Africa or somewhere.
Well, you won't.
God,
Because you won't be able to
they've
import
made it clean.
You won't be able to import it into this country because they just said by 2035 you won't be able to buy a petrol motorbike. So if you think you're just going to import it in, they'll say no. In this country, you can't buy one. So what
Yes,
you do?
but we're all talking that we can't put up with what we've got anyway. It's them that have made all these decisions. So, as we say, we just got to get rid of these people, buy the voting box, and get these people out of government, because we need to change all this, because it's all madness. It's all fucking madness.
Yeah,
And
first
that's
you're going to
what
wake
we need
people up
to do.
before you vote.
Well, that's it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like.
But does it matter who we? But does it matter who we vote for? If I mean,
at this moment,
a lot of us
no.
threw our weight behind. Well, I did anyway, and I think some others here did also. Threw our weight behind Farage, and then it was like, actually, that was a bit of a kick in the bollocks you did there, mate.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah,
Nice.
cheers.
They're all elitist.
And then
Well,
Gerard
he was the one.
mean, God love you, Dankula. I know you're never going to see this. I know you're never going to. But the way that you giggled on stage at that thing with Batten was just... I know it's you, and I love you. I think you're great, but fuck me, that was humiliating for the party. It just made it out to be a load of idiots.
Well,
in my opinion.
In some sense, some of them were idiots. They should have never ever been.
I always liked Gerard Batten. I always liked him, but I didn't like the rest of them.
No, but that's the thing. I mean, it's like I just don't know what's going off. I mean, you take the Labour Party, look at the state of the Labour Party. Well, no, let's not.
Well, Keir Starmer isn't for the Labour Party, is he? I mean, look at that. I mean, they're already looking at going bankrupt because the fucking membership has been dropping and they're fucking not paying in their subs. So the unions are going to fuck off and say, hang on, you aren't back in the fucking the picket lines. So what is so Labour about you? Cunt. Is basically what they're saying.
Well, cunts.
Well, you look at the way he spoke to that bar bloke that time. He says, I'm not going to be held accountable by people like you. Really?
Yeah.
He's the voter. He's the man that would help get you into power. And you're telling him when he's asking you a question, you're not going to be held accountable by. Oh, well, who the fuck are you going to be held accountable by?
But that gets back to fucking Gordon Brown, doesn't it? Do you remember that old biddy that was...
Yeah.
Yeah, and that wicked bigoted... I don't think he called her wicked, but that bigoted
Called
old
her
woman.
bigoted.
Yeah.
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 For asking the question, you know, it's wrong. These politicians aren't politicians anymore. They don't.
They're mobsters and gangsters.
Yeah.
And
That's
his,
what they are.
his first question was, when he got in the... Who let her talk to him? I don't know if it's his first, but one of the questions was, who let her through? Was it him? Was it him? Was it her fault? Was it his fault?
Yeah.
Trying to find... Excuse me? Wow.
I mean, you also look at, oh, blimey, the other parties. You know, you've got the Green Party. I mean, Jesus Christ, if they ever got in power, would be well be screwed. Because they don't...
Gordon Brown had a massive head, though, didn't he? He was like a sniper's favourite, wasn't he, as they call him? Had a massive head, huge fucking head on him, didn't he, Brown?
It's like an overgrown potato.
Awful man. Sold out gold for nothing.
Yeah. And then you've got Lib Dems that actually admitted if they got into power, you won't get a vote. We were going back into Europe. That's their stance. Excuse me. That's why you're never going to get in power.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
Not liberal, not democratic.
Yeah.
No.
So we haven't got any parties. Unfortunately, we haven't got...
I agree. We haven't.
We haven't.
And
Well,
the
by
point-
that decision by them, they should be forced to remove the name Democratic from the party.
Well, on the next voting day, I hope the none of the above is fucking in there. None of the above.
Yeah, but they would argue that the democratic process never ends, and so therefore just because it's been decreed by a democratic process doesn't mean to say that another democratic process, just like the democratic process of getting into the EU or the EEC, or even the democratic process of saying no 3 times to the EU in the case of fucking Ireland. Oh, yeah, you mean that?
Yeah. Well,
Wankers.
yeah. Well, I mean, you can also say the same thing with Scotland when, you know, they want to leave the UK but want to rejoin Europe.
Yeah, but they voted against, mate, didn't they?
When was
No.
a man's word not a man's word? I can't believe the fucking skullduggery of these fucking corrupt bastards.
No, apparently Scotland more voted to remain than leave.
Oh, no, that's not my point. My point is that the majority of Scots voted in the referendum to remain a part of the Union.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
You know, I've got
And
a
so
solve for this.
Sturgeon still isn't happy with that result and keeps on pushing, just the same as happened in Ireland, for a different result. And
What the percentage was.
and the way that we got onto that is because some would argue, as you were talking about the Liberal Democrats, some would argue that the democratic process never ends, despite the fact that it's sold to you as a once-in-a-lifetime vote, once-in-a-generational vote.
Yeah.
Well, you know how Northern Ireland and Ireland itself is, you've got the border which non-existent, and it's always a big problem with the EU and all this. To solve that situation, why don't we not just give Ireland a vote? Well, it's not us to give, but they should claim the vote themselves. To leave the EU in a referendum and join us.
Yeah, except they're led by globalists, so they're not going to do
Have you
that.
not
Yeah,
listened to any?
Baraka.
Have you not listened to anything I've said over the past few minutes?
No.
Ireland voted not to join the EU on a number of occasions.
Yeah, we all know.
Yeah, but on the third occasion, apparently, They then voted, apparently, to remain. Now, here's the thing. They voted twice, overwhelmingly, to leave. Now, I'm not suggesting that there was any corruption, because that would
Never.
be, naughty of me to say that. But
They're Catholic, aren't they?
Yeah.
Ouch.
But don't mention the US.
Well, not for long. It's going to change to
That
bloody
was a
Islam.
usurping.
yeah. But yeah. So at end of the day, it's like, did they really vote to leave? I mean, in my view, if you ask people to vote a second time and they vote even more than they
Again.
voted the first time to leave,
Maybe
why-
the third time they used Dominion machines.
yeah, well, no suggestions of, shall we say, tampering. We're not going that way. I mean, that would be
Well,
alleged.
2 out of 3, you normally win, don't you? Unless it goes out of 5.
Well, yeah, but don't forget, this was like, third time lucky. So, but it's like with Sturgeon. Can you imagine if it's let's say people in Scotland decide to say, you know what, we've had enough. Yeah, we'll vote to leave England. Yeah, so they win by, I don't know, a 2% margin. Yeah, just for the sake of argument. Do you think that Nicola Sturgeon would give them another vote? Say 5 years down the line.
Oh,
No.
no. It'd be a
No.
once in a generation
It's a
vote.
lifetime fucking deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing that gets me with Nicola Sturgeon. Is, I mean, no
She is
offense.
authoritarian.
Yeah, not only
Oh,
that,
yeah.
she's absolutely destroyed Scotland. I mean, and on top of that, if you
Yeah.
want to get really laughable on Scotland, they have a period, a period.
A bloody
Yeah.
period.
I
Yeah,
know a bloke that's in charge of women's periods or men's periods. Is it men's period?
No, women's. It's women's period. Is it? I think it's not called a women's period or a man's period. It's called period
Like-
coordinator or something.
Oh, he's still a cunt.
Getting paid, I think it's about 36 grand a year to give women information and
Okay, now he's earning more than a gynecologist.
and giving free tampons or pads out. You know, I
Man.
mean, where's the money coming from for all these tampons and whatnot?
I wonder if he has a period.
The Blob Squad. Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's that gets me. At every opportunity, this woman finds a way to waste money. Now, why? Because let's face it, parts of Scotland she doesn't give them all the money that the British government give them to give. She undercuts the islands by
I heard
about.
she's not very hot on education, apparently.
Yes, the Queen did sell the people out a long time ago. Free. Yeah, I quite agree.
Yeah, but I still think that maybe the British government should show a hand to Ireland and offer them the chance to join us in a union
Well, you don't
rather
have,
than the EU, just to sort out the Northern Ireland protocol.
you don't have to. All you need to do is say, well, if you want to do a vote and this time it's first to the post and the people vote leave Europe, then yeah, we'll do a trade deal with. We will set up a block which is for trade only, because a bit what's that thing called where you've got Is it Canada? Is it New Zealand, Australia?
Well, the Five
Commonwealth.
Eyes.
What?
What?
The new fascist state.
Well, you know, it's a trading bloc that, including Japan, were in it, weren't they? You know, setting it all up so you know that even the idea is to get America into it as well. So it would be more people, if you like, would counteract the European Union. You know what I mean? That I think that's the whole idea behind it. You know, so open the market up. So if they had a name for it, I can't remember what name were.
Like a Commonwealth thing.
A bit like that. No.
No.
Kush had it because he was using it for a while. That shield, it had like a Australia, New Zealand, Canada, UK. Yeah.
Right. So
Kanzak.
Yeah.
That's Kanzak. That's it. So
Kanzak.
if you know, if we got his act together and stood tall and said, yeah, we can do this. Let's have it for what the purpose of free trade between our countries without the bullshit of Europe. You know, we don't
remember
want...
with Trump, we nearly got a free trade agreement with fucking America.
Yeah.
But don't forget that according to all sources, that Liz Truss, God bless you, Liz, God bless you, she went over to America to circumvent Biden saying no, fuck off, because of Brexit you can't have free trade deals. She went and did deals with how many states in America? I don't recall. I think it could have been something like 13, 14. But that's off the top of my head. I could be wrong on that. It was quite a lot. It was quite a lot of states, and she circumvented the federal state by going to the locals.
Interesting.
That's not as stupid as she sounds.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you know, if we could set this up, this could happen. If we had people or politicians with balls,
willing to bet on us.
Yeah, I mean, that's if Liz Truss becomes, I think she'll have more balls than fucking rest of the politicians that we've got in there.
No,
but then again, he's a female.
Yeah, and no, she won't.
It's a joke.
Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry.
I'm not.
Sorry, mate.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but even still, Sunak, he understands more economy than her. I mean, I was watching their debate last night on GB News, and she wanted to give us money to get war over Christmas and stuff, but we'll be paying for it for the years to come. And Sunak's, he decides to go for the long game instead of the short game. The short game makes us even more into debt.
They always keep us in debt. We get out of debt, we finish paying for wars, we finish paying for racism and civilization, and then it's always us that ends up paying. And now we're all out of debt, we think, and in comes the COVID, in comes the green tax, in comes this and carbon bollocks. And here we are again, paying for shit again.
Well, here's the thing, Caldera. Yeah, Sunak, he was the Chancellor, and we're in debt. We're in big debt. So I'm sorry. No, Sunak's a lying piece of sack of shit.
All MPs are lying sack of shit.
Right, yeah. But the point of the matter is, he's trying to make out that is better than Liz Truss. I don't like either of them. But the point of the matter is, you know, saying that.
I do agree. I hate Sunak. I don't want him in charge. But what I'm saying is that Liz Truss, she probably won't be able to handle it very well either.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. It won't be up to Liz Truss. It'll be up to the new Chancellor.
She'll probably make Sunak the Chancellor.
She won't. Sunak won't be the Chancellor by the time she's finished after the way he's been fucking calling her. And he,
There'll be a globalist doctrine in it.
yeah. But yeah, so at the end of the day, we don't trust any of them. I mean, let's face it, you know, we're still waiting for Brexit.
Yep.
How many years, Boris? 6 years ago? Still waiting.
Yeah.
Still waiting, politicians. Nope's happened.
Anything they can do not to give it us.
Right. But yeah, it's a simple case. Like, everything is at this moment in time, and what we need is clarity. What we need is to stop politicians signing up to stuff like the Paris Agreement and saying, you know, we're going to go electric by the year 2035. You know, it was 2040, but now it's 2035. What they're going to do? Decide in another couple of years that we're going to 2030. You know, oh no, because even 2035 we're not going to be ready.
Already, mate, they're talking about fucking putting tax and MOT and license plates on push bikes.
Yeah, that's unenforceable.
So, well, I mean, the thing is, I've been in a few servers where I see a lot of people really going, yay, this is fucking great. I fucking hate cyclists. They should have to pay the same as us. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, you're advocating for something that's only going to get worse.
Yeah, they just hate cyclists. That's just their reaction.
Well, they hate cars. They hate freedom, basically.
Well, no. I mean, at the end of the day, I personally think cyclists should have a number plate. And here's why. Not because I hate cyclists, which some cyclists I do dislike when they do stupid stuff. But the point of the matter is, you have a big percentage of cyclists, not all cyclists, but a big percentage of cyclists that think the laws aren't for them. You know, like
well, they don't need a number plate. Can I just work this out?
Yeah, go on then.
They don't need a number plate. They carry a mobile phone. They're going to know who's went through the red light anyway.
Yeah, well, they're not, because obviously they don't. Now, the point of the matter is, if that pedal cycle has a number plate on it and it's readable, then the fine can be just sent to them like it does to us. You know what I mean?
Well, that goes with tracking.
Yeah, but then again, that just leads down another slope. And then it's going to be, well, you're going to have to wear a fucking identity badge when you're walking down the road outside your house because of insurance reasons. In case you bump into somebody and you cause them a trip, fall or accident. It's just, and then there's going to be the carbon tax on your breathing.
Yep.
It's just never ending. Well, you know what I mean. The extra carbon tax.
Yeah, you've already got it. I mean,
yeah.
we were talking about that earlier. But the point of the matter is, no, I think it is a good idea to make cyclists pay. I mean, because no offence, I mean, I don't know where you live, but where I live, they spend millions of our hard-earned cash on cycle lanes.
I understand.
Do the cyclists use them? No. Why?
You don't have to.
Well, there you go. You don't have to. But why fucking do
there's actually a speed limit on cycle lanes, and if you're going over 18 mile an hour, you have to be on the road.
Yeah, but there's the thing again, right? When I did my motorbike test, I was on my motorbike test, and I'm doing 30 mile an hour, and a cyclist passed me.
Well, don't they have the right of way now?
Yeah.
Going too slow.
Well, I were on my test, you know what I mean? A cyclist passed me. And then when I went in the 20 mile an hour zone, the cyclist was zooming past me. Now, no offence, I don't care. If I'm stuck at 20 mile an hour because that's the speed limit, all cyclists should be doing the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Agreed.
Same as a red light.
But here's the thing. A cyclist doesn't know what speed limit they're doing because they don't have a speedo.
Most of them do.
No, none of them.
Well, competitive cyclists do.
Well, I've got a bike computer. It goes by GPS.
Yeah, but you're a fucking competitive cyclist.
You know, most
Fucking
cyclists,
cars like fucking Popeye.
you know, I mean, not all cyclists are like you. You know,
okay.
conscientious.
You said to me, I don't know what it's like round your way. Round my way, it's all right. But I was up in London a number of months ago, and I was going round a roundabout, and you know, I've always got my eyes everywhere anyway, and it's only because I've got my eyes everywhere anyway. There's this young little spunker, could only have been about 16, on one of those T-bar handlebar scooter electric things, you know, with the two tiny wheels front
Yeah.
and back. You know, one at the front, one at the...
Yeah.
And he just appeared out of nowhere. But it's only because I had my eyes all around me. I was like, well, fuck me.
Careless idiot.
If I hadn't have been looking, and there was a car to my left and there was a car behind, do you know what I mean? I just saw it all. I was like, right, okay, this guy's going to be a cunt. But if it had been a different driver, I'm not saying I'm a good one, by far from it. I was just lucky on that occasion, I suppose. That could have been fucking carnage. That could have been a fucking 16-year-old fucking dead. It'd been fucking two other cars involved in the accident.
Yeah, well, these electric scooters, unless they're a proper hired one, they're banned. They're not allowed on road.
Oh,
And
they're everywhere, mate, aren't they?
Yeah.
They are, yeah. But here's the
Yeah.
thing.
Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, well, apparently the police do, because they're rounding them up and taking them off them. But the point of the matter is, when you've got lights of Alfred selling them, what do you expect? No, they're going to be all over the place.
They're everywhere.
Well,
If you can afford them.
yeah, but that's what gets me. Where do they get the money from? Because half of them that you see on these things, you look at them and you think,
It's got to be from mum and dad, because I kid you not, if I was 14 years old and I had a girlfriend, here baby, what's it going to be? Get on the back of my BMX or get on the back of my little electric bike? I'm going to take you up the wreck and give you a you know, whatever it may be.
yeah, so
Bit of a talking to about how much of a slut you are.
but like here's the thing, like I say, you say it's a slow, slippery slope, but after seeing the shit that goes off in London with these couriers and the way they
True.
what would you suggest?
I haven't got a solution, mate.
Oh, the chicken Danzak
I don't know.
from a courier.
But there has to be a point, you know. I mean, it's obviously you don't want a number plate on a little girl's thing with
Exactly.
stabilizers on.
And is that gonna need insurance then? And to get the insurance, is it gonna have to have an MOT?
Well, hang on. How's it going to be enforceable? I mean, for one, kids that are riding around on bikes, they're not going to have a number plate. They're going to say, fuck you, I'll do what I want. They jump curbs, they pull stunts, they do whatever. The police won't stop them in case they knock them off the bike and they die. Everybody, even the press will jump at the police for that, and they'll say, oh, well, we'll have to remove these laws because, there's been fatalities of just trying to stop these young fellows. And then there's also, if the police does try to chase one on a bike, he'll jump the curb and go down an alley where a cop car can't fit down the alley, can it?
Well,
a bike MOT tester. Yeah, that's a future job for you. Bike MOT tester.
Right. It's going to stop kids getting on bikes. And if kids don't get on bikes, they're going to be even more obese and fat. There's going to be no incentive to exercise. And I thought the plan was to get people out of cars onto bikes for exercise, to keep them healthy and stop them from getting obese.
And this is where it goes. It's another way of
green.
Taxing. Isn't it?
Also, it's less carbon. It's more green. But now they're bringing out this thing about license plates and tax and insurance and stuff. It's not an incentive. It's a discouragement.
At the end of the day, let's face it, they want you out of your car. So unfortunately for all you cyclists that love your cycles and want all the cars off the road, you're going to have to pay. And I agree.
Yeah, you're
I
that.
do. I can't wait for you to be paying fortunes to ride your bike like we're paid fortunes to drive cars or ride our motorbike.
Yeah,
You know?
you're that.
I'm sorry. What did you think was going to happen when they finish with the motorists? You know, they need taxes.
No.
Well, put it this way: if they pass a law where I have to wear a plate and have insurance and stuff, I'm still going to ride my bike, but I'm not going to have a plate or insurance or tax out like that. And if the cops do try and stop me, I'm jumping over a hedge and I'm going through the field.
Well,
Yeah.
Flux is right. I'll probably start trying to tax us for fucking breathing.
Well, walking is going to be the next step. Oh,
Yeah, you're
God,
gonna
you can thank me later.
But it is, at the end of the day, what did you expect? It were like, you know, when
Well, okay. So if we do have to pay tax and insurance for a bike, maybe car drivers should pay triple insurance and triple tax for this.
we
How
do,
about that?
we do. I'm sorry, I don't know if you've noticed.
No. When this comes out, maybe you should have to pay triple more of what's already out.
Why should we? We already paid
Exactly. Why should we? Now, you're advocating for taxing cyclists and stuff like this. It's just another way for the government to get more money, right?
Fight.
Let the government get more money by taxing car drivers a lot more. You see, it's a slippery slope. You shouldn't advocate for others.
Yeah, well, the thing is, cyclists have been advocating for motorists to pay more for the cyclists.
But two wrongs don't make a right, mate, because it fucks us both up. All of us.
Yeah, but here's the point. Cyclists
I haven't got
have been using the same roads as us, and now they have right of way over said vehicles. Now, I'm sorry, if you want that privilege, then you should pay for it. Like
We didn't ask for that privilege, though. It's the government that came up with that hierarchy bullshit.
That's a good point. I don't think the cyclists actually asked for that, because I wouldn't have asked for it, would you?
Oh, what cyclists?
In Holland,
no, it's the government that said the.
It's a government bring out new rules and new laws all the time. Stop messing with the country. Stop bringing out all these new laws. There's nothing wrong the way the country was back in the 90s. There shouldn't be all these new laws and all these new censorship shit and all these oppression shit just because,
Agreed.
you know, they've let in a load of shit into the country that shouldn't really be here.
It seems like
we've lost our rights.
Hello, I love you, man, but it seems like you're agreeing for exactly that censorship for something else because it's like penalising somebody else because I'm a driver are already being penalised.
Hang on. All right. Let me put something into context here. I drive lorries for a living, and I see the carnage that happens to cyclists that don't obey the law. Now,
natural selection.
Yeah, well, yeah, it ain't because unfortunately the lorry driver loses his family, ends up in prison, and has had his life ruined for the rest of his life because he will never. These people, unless they're heartless cunts, will never ever get back into a truck. Because if I accidentally killed a cyclist because of their stupidity, I would never, after I'd done my time, I would not want to get back in a truck. I'd be devastated that this happened, because I have a heart. Now, here's the point. If this alters the way, I'm not saying we need road tax. What I'm saying is that we need license plates on bikes. Now, if you break the law, then there's someone to be held accountable for breaking that law. Can you imagine if every vehicle on the road took the license plate off and went through red lights? Can you imagine the carnage?
How many bikes hit cars and there's no insurance? Who'd you get the money off?
It's a rarity anyway, but it's unenforceable to have cyclists wear plates anyway. As I said before, if the cops are overstretched with doing a lot of work already, are they really going to stop a cyclist?
Well,
and another cyclist is really going to stop for them?
They don't have
to. There would be something on the bike, basically, that, like with a car, that would basically tell them who you are. And whether you've got insurance, blah, 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 like they do with us, with knowing we've got an MOT, insurance, tax.
Yeah, that's
blah, blah, blah.
if you accept something like that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You see, that's the thing. I can't see them putting an MOT on a push bike. Seriously, that's never. It's never going to wash. But putting a license plate on, because let's face it, quite a lot of these cyclists have a driving license. Yes, but they find it okay when they're on a cycle to break the law.
Now that could be a very good way of getting around my concerns, at least anyway. That should you hold a driver's license, whether it be a provisional or otherwise, provisional at 16, then you have to abide by the laws of the road.
I do agree as well.
I could get behind that. Yeah.
Exactly. See, you were just thinking I'm out for the road tax and this. No, what I'm saying is that, I mean, for one starters, it's got to be from the age of 18. You know what I mean? Well, all right, 16 because you can have a provisional license at 16. Now, the reason being is because. But what we need to do, we need to bring back the training in schools. Remember when I was a kid? You used to bring you back to school and you had training in school.
Cycling proficiency test.
And you know what? This is what fucked me off. I was taught in my cycling proficiency to drive. If there's a double carriage and it's coming up to the left and right junction, so one lane left, one lane right, then what you must do is ride on the outside of the lane, not the inside of the lane, so you don't get knocked over into both lanes of traffic. Well, the amount of abuse that I got from drivers this one day, I didn't go up that road again on that bike. I drove on the road on the path. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a unicycle, you cunt.
Yeah.
I'm still going to point out there's more kids on bikes than adults, and there's no way they're going to end up wearing a plate and having insurance and tax.
It's all pathetic. We're sick of the nanny state. We don't want none of this shit. And the sooner we can get this government out and get our own bloody rules in, the better. Ladies
and gentlemen, we have been going for 2 hours. Is it time to sign off?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd just like, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you didn't, leave a comment.
Yeah, share, you bastards.
And share so that the channel can grow and that all we chat on here, other people can learn from our mistakes.
Thank you for listening this evening.
Yes, thank you. Right, is that it? Are we done?
They love it when I turn up the bass.